All right, well, like you, I'm sure, by now, I saw the Wandavision trailer. That will be a series for D+, and continuing the MCU in a television version of it. Oddly enough, for the first time since the ABC shows and the Netflix shows apparently no longer count, and all because of division within the company and fighting and whatnot. So, gotta say that now that it's all under the control of Feige, that ultimately that does work for the idea of shared universe stories. You gotta have that all under one house to make that flow. So, poor Scarlet Witch, she sure suffered an awful lot in Infinity War. Most notably, of course, she lost Vision, her true love. And this is true to the comic books. They got married, and at one point, seemingly even had children. I'm not entirely. I didn't follow the story exactly, but they turned out not to be real. Because of Wanda's powers, she can alter reality, and the stresses and pressures of what she's under, she cracks. And there's quite a few stories came out of that. House of M is an alternate reality she created, and all this. So when they say she's the most powerful character in the, that's not blowing smoke. It's not like Captain Marvel, where that was just total nonsense. She is. She does have this godlike power. Whether it's mutant or not, they went back and forth with that. I think it's still canon within the comics that she is the daughter of Magneto and all that, along with her brother. Quicksilver, but I don't know if they're going to pursue any of that going forward now that the X-Men are under the umbrella of Disney and all that, but we'll see. But for her story, to tie in at least and tribute to the comic book origins of the emotional part, in the story that broke up the Avengers and all this stuff was the loss of these children that drove her insane. And here we have her possibly, I'm thinking she'll have a bit of a mental breakdown over the loss of Vision and her desire to want him back. And with the power she has, how could she possibly ignore that temptation to try to make that happen? And I'm guessing that's what happens in this series. Now, of course, the series has what many people would suspect to be just the Marvel going to a form of goofiness and silliness. But if they find that balance, which quite a few of the Marvel films did, some of them not so much, they went too far in my opinion, but it still works, even though this is very dark material, because, you know, she's in this bad place. And this trailer seems to be true to form to that. It appears this altered reality as a result of her powers doing this, where she has these visions, if you will. It is called WandaVision. You say, oh, because it's Wanda and Vision together. There was this limited series of them two, the Vision and the Scarlet Witch, or Scarlet Witch, I can't remember how it went. But here, WandaVision, where yes, he's in it, but at the same time, it is her vision of wanting him back, and how does she go about doing this, and what are the consequences of it. And of course, they have these scenes where the silliness, it seems silly, but there is this dark tone to it where they're acting out these blissful fantasies as portrayed from past sitcoms of what happiness really is. You know, you get married and you have your home and you raise your family and all that sort of stuff. And this ultimately is what she wants with Vision. And you see it, but then, oh, there's something wrong. And then, of course, there's a villain here. Now, many people suspect this is a woman named Agatha Harkness. I've read some of the comics with her in it, and that I thought for a while she was kind of a mentor to Scarlet Witch, but maybe she's more of a villain in this aspect, that she has sinister motives. And perhaps that's who she is. The other possibility, there was rumors that they were going to gender swap the character of Nightmare, which is a Doctor Strange villain, and maybe that's who she is there, or she could be in league with that character, because ultimately WandaVision is supposed to lead in to the upcoming Doctor Strange film, which was one of the aspects that apparently is why the director left the project. He was irritated about being forced to have to tie his film into this TV series. because apparently Scarlet Witch will be in that film. So now it's going to be Sam Raimi, who seemed to have no problem with it at all. So, so I guess that's how that'll work out. But so, yeah, you got to watch the show to understand. Maybe. I mean, they pulled this stunt with Captain Marvel. Oh, you got to watch Captain Marvel so you know what's coming up in Endgame, and you didn't need to watch Captain Marvel at all. It was kind of a little trick they pulled there. But here, I'm thinking this is possibly more true than not. At least it'll tie into it because of the consequences of what she's doing to reality with her powers, albeit very understandable in her desire to have her man back, or her android man back. But the thing of it is that I guess they'll explore the Soul Stone that was the Infinity Stone that made up the consciousness of Vision for his android body to actually be a sentient being. And was it the stone, or did the stone create the consciousness, and the consciousness still exists, and maybe there's some kind of way she can be reunited with him and he'll live again. And that's how that will work out for her, hopefully, because she was a decent person. She's troubled, but can't she have happiness? At least have him back, So anyway, a lot of the goofiness of them acting out sitcoms throughout the ages, from the 60s through the 80s and all that. It could be a danger of that being too silly, but I'm not sure. The trailer looks good to me. It has that edge of it, of silliness and comedy, of them acting out those scenes, and at the same time there's this very underbelly of darkness and very sinister things in it. And so that does fit in with what something Doctor Strange could deal with, so that it ends up spilling over into his movie, which is called the Multiverse of Madness or something. So there's the race between MCU and the DCU racing. I think the DC's already got the head start on that one. But anyway, that appears where it will go. The only other interesting thing is apparently the adult Monica Rambeau will appear in this. And Monica Rambeau, of course, is the actual original first female Captain Marvel. She was Captain Marvel when I was a kid reading comic books in the 80s. That was the character. I really got drawn in by Secret Wars, and she was the Captain Marvel on the Avengers in that story. And then to be completely forgotten when they're pushing this Captain Marvel crap movie with Carol Danvers and all their supposed virtue signaling wokeness, and yet, you forgot that it was a black woman who was the first. Plus, she has no connection to Marvel, so if they didn't want to deal with the whole original Captain Marvel, well, of course, Shazam's the original Captain Marvel, but the Marvel Comics Captain Marvel, and his whole story, which is completely wiped out on, and he got gender bent in the movie, you could have just scrapped all of that if you wanted to and just said Monica Rambeau, because it's a totally different story. I think her name is given to her by the press or something in the storyline. I forget how it goes. And she's, okay, I'm Captain Marvel. She didn't really know much about it. And her powers are she becomes this light being and all that. And she has super speed and all that kind of stuff. So they could have done it. But the thing is, they didn't know who she was. But yes, kids, Marvel Comics has been diverse for decades. So the woke crowd did not discover this. They're just a bunch of screaming lunatics on Twitter. So so it'll be interesting to see. I guess she's being introduced there. I don't know if they'll just establish her as Photon, which is a name they gave her. I'd give her her real name back. I think the first Captain Marvel, he died. Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel. As far as their current Miss Marvel, they could give her, she's basically Rubber Girl. So, those powers are terrible. And Carol Danvers could go back to being Miss Marvel, which is a name she had for decades. It's unnecessarily messed up. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, she'll be in there. How that weaves in and fits, I don't know. But maybe it's just she gets introduced. She's like, she knows Wanda. And then later on, whatever, Captain Marvel 2, maybe she'll have more of a role in that. So, we'll see. But then again, maybe she'll get her powers as a result of this movie because of all the weird things that can happen because of Wanda's reality-altering hex powers, it's called. So yeah, the trailer looks good. Yeah, looking forward to it. I had more interest in Falcon and Winter Soldier story, and especially if they can keep that within line with Winter Soldier was like in the film, that would be really cool. But also, WandaVision is important because I am very looking forward to the next Doctor Strange film. It's probably the one movie of MCU I am looking forward to. The others, I'm not all that excited about. They kind of sound pretty bad. So I don't know. But Doctor Strange, I am looking forward to it. So, yeah, gonna watch WandaVision. So it's a good trailer. So far, so good.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. You know, hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.